Maybe you could hear me. That would be better. Happy Friday, everybody. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. Got a frog in my throat. A little Turkish coffee will help that. Not bad. It's my first time making Turkish coffee in a long time. I haven't made Turkish coffee in a long time, but it's good. Hey, yo. What's going on? Who's fastest internet? My fastest internet. Good afternoon. How are you? Sweet talking classic. It's a good looking beard. What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. What a crazy Friday it is. What a crazy Friday. It's been an interesting morning. I don't know. Apparently everybody's on the same algorithm on YouTube because somehow stumbled on, and the funny thing is now I don't even remember how I found it, but some interesting information going around, things getting out, and we'll talk about that at some point. Jeff King, how are you? It says Biden spent over $1.6 million to shoot down 3 $12 balloons. Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of money on those balloons. Douglas, how are you? Is it evening? I guess it's like 4 o'clock, 4:32. It's almost drink time, cocktail time. Yeah, good fun. Good stuff. Let me pull something up here real quick. Something I found amusing last night. And I wanted to share this with you here. Pull this up real quick. I should have had this ready. That's the worst part. So I should have had this ready. But this happened yesterday, and usually don't care to. This actually came up in Twitter. But hey, let's play this.
Oh my gosh, your hair turned pink. My dog. Yeah, it's honored.
Watch this bit of kookiness. Some of you might recognize the man with the AK-47.
You take him so I can see Jack.
This is really weird. The gun guy looks like he has no idea what he's doing with a gun. Watch. Here comes the best part. Like, pointed right at the kids, man. I don't know what he's doing. At Mel? What's he doing? The size of that dog, too. That's like bizarro world. Absolute nuttiness. I saw that on Twitter this morning. I was like, what the heck is going on? A lot of drama going on over there, apparently. There's a lot of trouble at brewing. But how's everybody doing? Happy Friday. I know I've said that, but it's one of those crazy days, right? With children, yeah. I just, none of that makes any sense. The ineptitude of these people are just insane. But I just wanted to make sure that y'all saw that fun little bit. We got a bunch of other things we're going to talk about, and we're gonna take a look at some other fun stuff. Give out a big shout out to friends and fans over on Telescope's channel. They may join us at some point. Um, it's been a really fascinating day. I reached out to the person involved, asking if they wanted to come on and tell their story. I got a reply, but I don't think they're going to. So we'll share some of this, some of these interesting things that I've been finding on the web that I thought was sort of nuts, and we'll talk about some of this and see where this leads us. What do you guys think? Just get this set here right. Should be good here. Let's see. There we go. Some of my favorite posts on Twitter, because I think it's been kind of an interesting day. Rick Rack says the end is near. Man, I'll tell you, it's never felt more like the end. And I think you'll see that in one of these tweets here. Actually, it's a screenshot that I should pull up for you that you just beautifully reminded me of. I'm sorry, I just got distracted by something. Al Munson, it's good to see you too. That's one of the things I didn't do. You know what? Let's leave it the way it is. It's good. Sorry, get this pulled up here for you. Because I thought this was, actually, there's a couple pieces here that I want to share with you. Not that phone. Too many damn phones. This was a tweet that I never thought I'd see. Never thought I'd see in this lifetime. It didn't actually make sense that it would actually pop back up. Let me try this one here. Yeah, this out of Fox, Los Angeles. Talking about the casualties from a nuclear attack will come in many horrifying forms, but it's the fallout after the initial blast that is of utmost concern. Here's why. Here's what you can do and how to improve your chances. And why is this a conversation that's being had right now? I am aware that, obviously we're in a position where things are just out of control, right? But it's not so. I just thought that, that was sort of an odd, weird one. Let's see here. It's going to be part of our conversation as well, based on something that was going on the other night. We were talking about was mass shooters. This is a compilation of mass shooters trying to make it so we can see at the bottom. There is some text down there at the bottom, and I'll have to zoom in and show you what it says here. It just talks about where they sourced all of this from. But this sort of matched what our list was looking like the other night. That was unidentified faces in the silhouettes. Let me pull that back up here. This one here kind of matches what's going on here. Because of fallout from East Palestine. We have that to talk about too. How many of you saw the press conference today from the mayor or the governor, DeWine, and what he was saying? There's no problem. Everything's good. It's like the drunk driver who gets caught drunk driving, and then it takes hours and hours and hours for a blood test or something to occur, and then all of a sudden, no, he's fine, right? 2 weeks after everything happened, we've seen the videos of the river and whatnot. There, yeah, Frank, he's saying the river tests just fine. All the dead birds and dead fish and dead animals, that's natural, apparently. Not to worry. Don't worry, Governor DeWine, with that nonsense. So I kind of like, it's hard to believe anybody these days. But I did find even, some of the left-wing outlets discussing it as well, having their reporters looking into it, and they've also they say it's organic. Well, it is found in a lot of different products that you use, and their 500 parts per billion is the level that they were looking to not exceed. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a thing of the past. The Michigan shooter and the scary used a handgun instead of a scary assault weapon. That was part of the conversation that we were having the other night. Right. It's, I was surprised, and we may have to put on that press conference for a little bit, because right off the bat he's like, everything's fine. But this was some of my favorite Twitter posts from the last day or so. Is anybody surprised by this? I had a little bit of a glitch here. Make sure you can see it all. Okay, there we go. Move that around there a little bit. Breaking news. Shocked Pennsylvanians wish there had been some hint that Senator John Fetterman might be mentally unfit before voting him into office. I saw that and I was like, people. Then I don't think I saved it. I don't think it's in the list here, but there's a girl with a sign that says, I may have voted for Biden, but I'm not stupid. And she's pulling the cards from the backside. Like, she's telling this story and she's pulling the cards off the back. It's classic. This is one to talk about here. Now, we're going to have to watch this video vertical, because the way it was shot and the way they did, I could probably get it out and
so obviously, please call a cop.
Oh, come on.
Cop right now.
So let me go back to the beginning here.
My wrist, I will let you record your wrist. For what?
So there's no context to this whatsoever. So you got to pull what context you can out of what's being said. But this is a North Carolina police officer draws his gun on 14-year-old girl during traffic stop. I was part of a conversation yesterday over on Telescope's channel that I went into because Jeff, some of you may know, was just spewing nonsense, unfactual statements of, bullshit. So I went in there to help him get his facts right. And so one of the things that came up, we were talking about, when you get stopped by a police officer, what your rights are, and this discussion of what you should do. And it's funny, there was a lot of bickering, and then all of a sudden it sort of came out that when you sign your driver's license in certain states, perhaps most states, that then says that when you're pulled over by a police officer, you're required to hand over your identification, your driver's license, when asked. So it kind of null and voided certain parts of the comment, which I thought was spectacular. But honestly, you know what? This whole Santos thing I find really fascinating. I honestly haven't really looked into it all that closely, just because I just find it fodder, mostly. It's funny. It only matters when it's Republicans for some reason. I know Jeff is super smart. And I tell him how unsuper smart he is sometimes. And I feel bad because it's like it's tragic watching that happen. But I'm ridiculing Fetterman apparently for seeking treatment. I'm like the haters are absolutely going nuts right now because we're talking about pre-election, pre-outcome. Fetterman should have gotten out because of his stroke. He was in no condition to be going into Congress. And that has most likely escalated where he's at now. Every time we've seen him on camera, he looks miserable. I don't even know if it is all lies. He may have completely fucking lied to everybody to get in. And I say, good on him. You know what? Because here's a prime example of just flat out lying, right? This guy was in no shape. He was a shit candidate who did shit for Pennsylvania and somehow managed to win an election. They didn't even debate until after. Remember the debate? He said, "Good night." Good night, everybody. The shortest. It was fucking great. But, all those mail-in ballots had already been sent in, so you can't change your vote. They know exactly what they're doing. They have this all worked out. They have this plan. He will be gone shortly, and then they will put somebody in his place. Had he left before the election, then Dr. Oz would have won by default because Fetterman would have been out. And can't let that happen. Can't let the Republicans have the seat. This man's health doesn't matter to anyone. They need that Democrat seat. So, and they probably had their shit in the works long before he, even had that stroke. And yeah, he will have his pay and insurance for the rest of his life. Yeah, good for him. I hope he gets something out of this, miserable deal that he entered into, because yeah, it's awful. Taking advantage of people like that is wrong. So, but that's how politics works on both sides, right? I'm sure the Republicans would have done the same exact thing. So what I heard, an inside intel, he didn't have a stroke, but a heart attack. But lied about it all, agreeing to carry out. Yeah. Whatever, look, politicians don't tell the truth, right? That's we kind of know that. Yeah, George Santos, like I said, whatever, it's shady shit all the way around. I don't, at this point, nothing surprises me. But here, watch this North Carolina police officer. Listen to the audio.
What are you arresting me for?
Because here's the deal, okay? You didn't identify yourself.
Okay,
Listen
I
to
told
me.
you my name. I gave you my name, my first name, my last name, and my date of
Failed
birth.
to identify what state you're out of.
I
I have
said-
no idea who you are.
I didn't
Put
understand
your
your
other-
question. I said, what do you mean?
Put
I
your
said,
other
I
hand
work
behind your
here.
back. Put your
I
other hand
work
behind your
here.
back.
So obviously,
Please put your other hand behind your back.
please
okay?
call a
You're
cop.
turning.
Call
I got
another
you.
cop right now.
What
What are you doing? What are you doing? I didn't do anything. What are you doing? For what?
Sorry if you're all like turning your heads to watch this.
I identified myself.
Look, don't come up on me.
Are
Don't
you
come up on me.
fucking dead ass? She's a
Stop.
child.
Well, tell her to get back in the car. Stop.
Call a
So the girl came around the car. Officer's by himself, obviously.
Get your phone out. Get your phone out and record.
I would say that there was really no reason for that, but do y'all catch what's going on there? It appears, and obviously there's more that happens before this that has led to this that we're not seeing. But what I thought was interesting is let's take a look at the thread here. Let's see what people are saying. I don't know who Fight Heaven is. It just came up in a, what do they call that? Random tweets. Not necessarily people that I follow, but random tweets. So you got this cop shooting a beaver, a raccoon. What is it? It's definitely not a squirrel, but pointless. David wants to know where the full clip is. I agree. It would be interesting to know what that all is. I don't know. Can you guys read that okay? I'm looking at it on my big screen. I can see it, but it's hard to make too much bigger there. But then Ben says, we all know U.S. cops overact and even kill unnecessarily. So why not just comply, get cuffed, and then give your 2 cents instead of poking an on-edge bear with a gun? So dumb. I get his point. Twin sister says groundhog. It might have been a groundhog. Like, I don't know why they shoot it, but anyway, that's a whole nother side angle there. T-Pon, super straight from Brit. Why not let us clone your phone, listen to your cell phone calls, your phone calls, read all your texts and emails? If you have nothing to hide, then you shouldn't have anything to worry about, would you? Just comply. To me, I think that's a very different situation. Your phone, your personal information. But as the conversation went yesterday, is when you sign up for a driver's license and you sign to get your license, you are agreeing to hand over identification in a traffic stop. And she clearly didn't want to do that. She's one of those people that it sounds like doesn't really want to, identify herself. So, yeah, crazy. Yeah, apparently in this, and maybe we have to go check out this, but it says renegade cop empties his clip into a groundhog for holding up traffic. We'll check it out. Let's see. 2 weeks ago. Okay, that's enough of these Big John ads. In the latest video that has gone viral on the internet, it can be seen how an incident that started as fun quickly turned tragic. The video shot by a woman in a car shows deputy from the sheriff's office in Carroll County trying to deal with a groundhog that had found its way to the highway in Eldersburg. Like, how the thing just didn't get run over in the first place, I don't know. I've seen so many animals run over, especially around here. It's insane how many carcasses there are on the road these days. According to the information laid out by an onlooker, the groundhog, it did not seem that the groundhog had bitten anyone or was about to attack somebody. Okay. You see what's happening here in the description. It is also not clear that the groundhog was rabid or not, but the deputy found the animal to be acting strangely, and that is when he stopped his car. That cute little thing. It's adorable. The animal got onto the road, which led to sudden chaos on the busy highway. Several vehicles started stopping in order to understand the situation and save the animal. This made the situation hazardous to travelers. The deputy got off his vehicle. So was he a motorcycle cop? Because you get off your vehicle, out of your vehicle. This sounds like it was written by somebody who doesn't speak the English language. Maybe it's some like European or Asian website stealing my data. The deputy got off his vehicle in order to control the animal and direct it off the street. The animal did not respond as expected. Can you see him out of the street trying to call? Like, get your nightstick out and push it off the street. I don't know. Like, again, we're gonna find out here together. He was mad he saw its shadow. Maybe. The animal did not respond as expected. The deputy believed that the animal may be sick, and when he saw him acting strangely, he decided to shoot it in view of public safety. Shoot it in view of public safety. Is that the right way to state that? Like, he thought that for the safety of the public, he should shoot the animal. But he did it in view of the public. So it's sort of like killing two groundhogs with one bullet, right? It's a bad analogy on my part too, but standing in the way of his shadow. Chuck. Yeah. Does the groundhog taste like ground beef? That's a good question. I don't know that anybody... I shared my muskrat story at one point, but the deputy was pissed. Spring was delayed. That's funny.
Where's the story on?
Nathan Brown, I'm glad it's more fun over there on Telescope. Enjoy yourself. We're having a good time here. One of my biggest fans, that Nathan Brown. Anyway. One of several eyewitnesses was Justina Olkowska, who works at Sykerville as a payroll manager and was driving back home from her job that day. Let's see here. She's the one who recorded the video and made it viral by posting it on the social networking site Facebook. Like, we got to cut out a whole bunch of words there. By posting it on Facebook rather than on the social networking site Facebook through her account. Okay, it seems common. The video has been viewed approximately 37,000 times. Is that viral at that point? Obviously, these are not the pictures of the same animal. I would venture to say. As per the officials at the sheriff's office in Carroll County, the groundhog was coming towards the deputy. It was approaching the deputy. Since it was not behaving normally, the deputy acted as per the standard procedures and policies. He did what the departments trained him to do. It is given out in their policies to dispose of any animal that can cause any harm or is a health threat to the public. Therefore, according to them, what the deputy did was the right move. In the video, it is evident that the deputy tried to step towards the animal, but it did not back away. The officer decided to slowly go into the next lane where the groundhog followed. See, there it is. The groundhog came after him. This forced the deputy to finally pull out his gun. As the animal continued to approach him, he got on his knees and took a swift shot that hit the animal. He took a swift shot. I gotta get this. Where was it? After the first shot, the animal kept rolling around, which made the officer take a second shot to finally kill it. And after that, the officer moved back to his patrol car. So remember, the other, we'll go back to that post. It says the cop emptied his gun. Well, in this, it says he took 2 shots. I don't think, unless he was shooting a Derringer, he didn't empty his gun. According to the eyewitness, it appeared to be a sweet encounter where the officer did try to help the animal by getting him off the road. But suddenly, the complete incident took a shocking turn of events where the officer had no choice but to kill the animal. The officer did the best he could. The final statement came from the sheriff's office. It clarified that the whole incident is being looked into. No further information was provided. In the year 2014, there was a similar incident where an officer shot a 780-pound steer. The incident took place in Belvedere, which resulted in huge concerns raised by bystanders and witnesses of an open fire by officers at public places. Though in that incident also, the officer had to shoot the animal as it became highly aggressive. I guess we're not going to see that incident, but here's the video of the poor little. I guess there's no audio. Look at that. See, the thing thought he was making friends. Oh, yeah. Maybe he just wanted to get to the other side of the road and the cop was in his way. I'm just saying. I didn't see any weapons on that groundhog. Here's the finishing blow. It's weird, though, that there's no sound. It's unfortunate. All right. But it says it refused to comply, so the officer was left with no choice but to let the bullets fly. And even it's the River City Post that has the tagline, his entire clip into a groundhog, which is so dishonest because we'd see how well written this whole story was. It's according to the article, it said the cop did acted according to policy. So that's their policy when it comes to vermin. So carrying on. The amount of people on here saying this is justified is surprising to me. Why not try to de-escalate the situation? This is a problem with some police in America who can't control their emotions. Just because you wear a badge doesn't automatically make you right. All right, let's go back and watch this yet again. Does this officer seem irrational? All right.
My wrist, I will let you.
The video disappeared. Let's see.
Why? What are you arresting me for?
Because here's the deal, okay? You didn't identify yourself.
Okay,
I
told you my name. I gave you my name.
And remember, we haven't seen how kind, polite, whatever this officer's been in this traffic stop, it appears. But whoever made that comment thinks the officer's being irrational. Is he being irrational? What do you guys think?
My first name, my last name, and my date of birth.
Failed to identify what state you're out of.
I
have
said-
no idea who you are.
He sounds pretty rational.
I didn't understand your question. I said, what do you mean? I said, I work here. I work here. So
Please
obviously,
put your hand behind your
She
back.
playing games.
You're turning.
pull
That's what
another
she's
cop
doing.
right now.
This is classic fuck around, find out, right?
I didn't do anything. What are you doing? For what?
So obviously there's somebody in the back seat that's recording
I
this.
identified myself.
Look.
He
don't
looks
come up on
annoyed
me.
as fuck.
Don't come
That's
up
for
on me.
sure.
Dead ass. She's a
Stop.
child.
Well, tell her to get back in the car. Stop.
Call a cop right now.
Yeah.
Call
Get
a
in the
cop
car.
right now.
Get in the car.
Hopefully he has backup coming because this is out of control and there's too many people here. Which
Put your hand
unfortunately I
behind
think
your back, please.
what that does is it escalates for the woman that he's trying to make an arrest for. Is all the daughter's doing is making actually everything worse. Had she probably stayed in the car and just recorded it or made the phone call that she was making, he wouldn't have had to do that. But it's interesting because you see in the comments here, you see some of the comments talking about how pulling the gun on the girl. I mean, again, it doesn't matter how old the person is. I think it's just safe to say there's certain things you don't want to do to a police officer at certain times, especially if an officer has his hands full with a suspect. Last thing you want to do is walk up on them or try to unarrest your friends, which I think is another one of the videos that we're going to see here out of New York. Camera right there, Chris. Take now where his his finger is not even on the trigger. He's using excellent weapons control. His finger's down the barrel. So it's not like that gun's gonna just go off. So
I said I work here.
try to get back here to
I
where,
work.
where Crazy was talking about.
So
Please
obviously,
put your hand behind your back.
please
okay?
call a
You're
cop.
turning.
Call
I got
another
you.
cop right now. What are you doing? What are you doing? I didn't do anything. What are you doing? For what?
Is everybody like turning their heads right now to look at this?
Look, don't come up on me. Don't come up on me.
Dead ass. She's a
Stop.
child.
Well, tell her to get back in the car. Stop.
Call a cop right now. Call a cop.
There it is. See where his index finger is? That's proper gun safety right there. I don't know why that keeps disappearing. They had a glitch in the software. Finger movement definitely matters. Traces. Yes, it does. Very important. Yeah, people still, this is, this was the argument, that I was having yesterday is what is the problem with when you get pulled over and the police officer asks you for your driver's license? And what's the problem with when the officer comes up and you got your hands on your wheel and you roll down your windows, you do all the right things to make sure that you're safe, and you look at the officer, say good afternoon, good morning, whatever it is, be kind, be polite, let the officer ask you for your driver's license. And then you go on with what's going to happen. You catch more flies with honey. But then you've got these people that go, oh, you're giving up your rights. You're giving up your rights. Well, what did I really give up? Identifying myself? What's the problem with identifying myself? If you don't have, like, let's say, for instance, you leave home without your driver's license. Oh, shit, I forgot my wallet. Okay. They'll deal with that. They'll ask you to identify yourself. They'll ask you to give them some information, your name, date of birth, where you live, whatever they need to pull you up and find your record. But I'm guessing there's a reason why she didn't want to give up her driver's license and then played games with the cop. Just guess. Only because we got nothing else to go by. But you get the point. I just found that to be an interesting. This one's interesting too. I don't know. One of these guys is a Hollywood actor who shot a woman while filming a movie and is out of jail finishing the movie. The other is a rancher who shot an illegal alien trespassing on his property and is being charged with first-degree murder and held in jail on $1 million bond. Have you guys been following that story? He and his wife live on this ranch, and this person came up. I don't remember all the details, but off the top of my head, but they were trying to gain entry into the house, and apparently he gave them every opportunity to not get shot. But so that's going on. It is a strange double standard, But we see a lot of that double standard going on. From what I understand, he owns a home on the border. His home borders the property, or is on the border of Mexico, right? And this is a problem that comes up all the time. Let's see what this GoFundMe says. I forgot about my coffee. George Allen Kelly is a 73-year-old Arizona rancher who is currently sitting in a Santa Cruz County jail on $1 million bail. They had a GoFundMe, and GoFundMe shut down the account. That was one of the other things that I heard. That's why it's now on Give, Send, Go. Mr. Kelly is charged with first-degree murder for defending himself and his wife from an illegal Mexican national trespassing on the property very close to their home. The Mexican national has been caught multiple times illegally crossing the border and has been repeatedly deported. We'll be talking to Wanda this week. All the donations will go directly to her. Thank you for donating. That's all the information there. Jim Treacher says, well, yeah, first-degree murder is worse than manslaughter. Greg Price says he fired warning shots that accidentally killed the guy trespassing who was armed with an AK. And Arizona has a stand your ground law, yet he is held on $1 million bond and charged with first-degree murder. That was from Greg Price. Well, it's 2023. Everyone knows that only, quote, stand your ground if trespasser is white, end quote. If he's not white, you obviously cannot stand your ground, says Don. Oh, look, Don is like it's Ultra MAGA King is the account. OSC is asking, I would like for someone to tell me what an illegal alien is. Laughing my ass off. Dennis Meredith says, an illegal alien is an illegal migrant. Why does that do that? What is going on? It's weird. Little bugs in the system here. This is wow. Amazing. But anyway, so that's that one. Let's see what else there was here. There's some of the good stuff. Oh, this was out of New York. This is really interesting. Let's see if we can get this.
Turn around, put your hands behind your back. On what? Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
So he's holding out pepper spray.
You don't need to be doing that, okay? Don't do that.
Let it go. Let it go. We gotta go. That bullshit, man. I'm not TV enough.
So this was another one, and only because I've watched it a couple times to see what happens. Pay close attention to what's being said, and to me, they sound like activists. And as always, the video starts in the heat of the moment, and we don't know what led up to this and what's going on. And remember, New York's been sort of they have only so many ways to deal with people now, because they've been handcuffed themselves by their political class that's there. So watch how this goes down. He's giving him commands.
Why are they pepper spray him?
That's the bullshit.
He's not even doing nothing.
He got his phone out. Again, we don't know why he's under arrest. You hear all the voices off screen.
Why? What did he do?
This is the typical activist class that you hear.
Badge number, please.
All the cameras are out. Everybody's recording. She's next. Watch.
Nah, I got you. Clear. Clear. All your badge numbers. What are you? What? Oh my God. What did I do? You did nothing.
I don't know what she's yelling out, but we've seen other activists do the same thing where they're, you know.
She did not do anything.
So one of the things you can't do is interfere with the police.
Can we call someone?
Supervisor. Y'all need to call the supervisor right now. Call the supervisor. Call the supervisor. This fucking train.
Can we call someone for you?
Yo, you pinning her up against the fucking. What is she under arrest for? For what? For what?
No, it's not fucking dumbass.
For what?
You need to uncuff her right now.
Pepper spraying him for no reason, and then I just said,
Everybody didn't do nothing.
what the fuck? Yeah, no.
So right off the bat, this account is talking about the
Abuse of
officer.
power right here.
Notice Notice the name on the account. It's called Corn Communist. Proud member of the, quote, eat shit, you Nazi scum, end quote, left. for you, Frosty Broccoli. Self-identified leftist. Let's go down this wormhole together. This is interesting. It's a very, very colorful, artsy account. He says, we pay this cop $200,000 a year to do this to our community. Well, maybe if you'd stop doing what you do to the community, he wouldn't get the overtime. But when we have all these events that cause all these police officers to have to come in on their off time, because cops don't make $200,000 a year, by the way. That's not their base salary. But when they end up being forced to do overtime, especially when we've defunded the police, it actually ends up costing more because New York is taking a hit, just like every major city. Los Angeles having a hard time finding officers. By the way, which was the intention all along. They said if they can't shut down the cops, they're going to make it so nobody wants to be a cop. That was sort of the, and then also too is cost the department so much money by filing false claims, bogging them down in paperwork and investigations. These protests, bring all the officers out. It just costs them so much money that they're hoping to just break the departments with money, but that's not what happens. The people in charge know that we need the police, and you think it was staged? I don't think it was staged. I think it's just these are just people who want to challenge the system somehow. Again, we don't know what happened before this. I can feel pretty confident in making a judgment call as to what was going on there. But this is called Know Your Local Gang Members. These are just people who hate police officers. That's all this is. They dress fancy, they find themselves comical. These folks. What never makes sense to me is that they don't offer any solutions. What they ultimately want to do is this guy wants to be in charge of policing. This corn communist, whoever this is, they want to be the law enforcement. And we see what happens when they keep you safe. But they don't. See, Keeks is trying to make it seem as though the police officer is intentionally grabbing her breast. It's a frozen frame, 1/30th of a second. You understand what that means. So you can find that in the video. And then you got this guy. This one's interesting. This is glorifying violence. Even though, the guy has a Nazi thing on his arm, right? Again, it's violence. You can't do that. It doesn't matter who it is. In America, everyone has rights. This is a great account. Artist, he, him, anarchist, anti-fascist, anti-capitalist, which is communist, anti-Zionist, anti-D. And it says anti-D. I don't know if that's a typo or if that's a thing. Anti-D. For those who see this post on my shitter, I guess they're not a fan of Twitter anymore. They hate Elon Musk. They all hate Elon Musk. I don't care what happens there, so don't be surprised if I don't get back to you in case you commented. I'm on Mastodon, and all you see are just cross posts. Which, by the way, they have a the interesting part about Mastodon is how Mastodon links, and you create communities. The funny thing is they're all in the same communist community, a lot of them, which will be another live stream for another day, which is kind of a fun like rabbit hole to travel down. I think people just like vice lords have overthrown the world's police. Terrorists control the U.S. today. Eric Holder was a 70s weatherman. Was a 70s weatherman. Was he really? Eric Holder was? Crips, clandestine revolutionary internationalist party soldiers. Crips. Interesting. Tyson, I don't disagree with you, but at some point, like, the police have to take control of the situation, right? Again, they may have detained her, everything calmed down, they let her walk away, right? We don't know that. We just know that she got put in handcuffs because she appears to be interfering in whatever's happening there, right? Again, without all the context, because we've seen these viral clips set something up. One of the greatest examples is everybody got all worked up about this guy in a wheelchair who got shot by Huntington Beach police. Took a couple days to get out, but eventually we find out he had just stabbed somebody. In fact, I think it was in front of the police officers. As they got there, you know, this person walking by this man in the wheelchair doesn't know what's going on, just randomly gets stabbed. Critical, but survived. So the conversation about whether they need to shoot the crippled man or not, that's a whole different question. But the simple fact is everybody got all whacked out, but they don't realize, they don't know that this person, now, obviously this video is something different. We don't know, clearly not that detrimental. They were trying to take this man into custody. They gave him multiple chances, and he said, this last chance, I'm going to pepper spray you. And the guy still got his phone out doing whatever he's doing. He's not listening to the police officers. And, he got sprayed just as the officer warned him that was going to happen. Yeah. And people fall for it is the problem. And then when the truth comes out, everybody shuts the hell up and they don't say anything else. But this is one of these. Here, just a reminder. This is the account. Anarchoraxa, whatever. Smash all states. Hashtag eat the rich. Hashtag Antifa. This is a pretty hardcore anti-fascist. Look, he's lighting a Molotov cocktail, and then he's got pregnant peppers. I've actually seen that before, but I've never thought to take a photo and tweet it out like that. People overshare on the left. That's my belief. A lot of there's right too that do that. It's narcissists that tend to overshare. Let's see here. Police, anarchist with a Molotov cocktail. I don't know. Speaks wonders. I'm surprised an account like this is even still on Twitter, frankly. This all clearly breaks the terms of service on Twitter. Huh. More weirdos with dollhouses. Let's see. What's going on here? Protests. This looks like it's Colombia, maybe, or guy kicks the cop off the bike. Oh, look at that. They took down another. Oh, he's celebrating. He's celebrating, what's going on here. They love to do that. They love to celebrate violence of, assaulting people. See, right here. It's all these accounts do is celebrate this violence. The cops are leaving. You wanted the cops to leave, but then you're going to kick them as they're leaving. From the back. Now they're going to beat the cop to death, practically. And you wonder why that cop is trying to, defend himself. That's not in this country, thankfully. But we have seen slightly similar events occur with police officers. I'm trying to remember exactly where that was. I want to say it was New York. Or no, it was they kicked the guy off his bike. Attacked him. Anybody remember where this is from? This is a pretty famous image. Notice how it says "We the People" on it. Anarchy symbol. I'm surprised the paint's gold, frankly, but I guess maybe they I don't know. Look at all the paint on the other side on the box. Will that do that? It looks like that person's been tagging all over the place here. Twitter is still run by the government. Elon gets way too many government subsidies for them not to be involved. I don't know. My better judgment tells me things have changed. That's just my opinion of it. I don't know that I'd love to see evidence of subsidies by the government at this point, because that was exactly what I think Elon was trying to break away from, right? It seemed like a bit of a hypocrite to be doing that. George Black. Very nice. Trump's inauguration. That's exactly correct. I was a black man's limousine, by the way, for those of you who aren't aware. The interview, I'm not going to pull it up, but the interview was heartbreaking. This guy didn't do anything. But that's who these anarchists, Antifa members are, is they just, insurance will cover it. And I call bullshit. Let's see, what's this here? That's a news truck. Montreal protests. What's this kid doing? Okay. I don't know. They really love this Molotov cocktail thing. I've seen that happen to. This happened to a kid named Vishal. and an Antifa journalist protester causing trouble did the same thing. You know, it's pointed the right way. It's just the nozzle's not turned out the right direction. So it happens. It happens to the best of them. You know, you gotta make sure the sprayer's pointed the right direction before you push that button. Sometimes you're just not deploying your chemical weapons correctly. Oh man, I feel like that horse was spooked. But yeah, that rider, he got taken out by the light pole there. Street art, make the world a colorful place. They think they're so funny and comical. Yeah. I think that's photoshopped. I'd call photoshopped on that. This guy. He's destroying somebody's pride. I'm guessing something bad is going to happen to this guy. He can't tear it. I'm guessing it's that vinyl plastic. It's probably not just cardboard. High quality print, probably. No, we don't, Diane, we don't do that. We try to abstain from that. I like Telescope. I like having conversations with Telescope. So, you know, he's proven to be able to have conversations. And I think that's important for us. So, yeah, no, that's yeah, that was part of it. Like I don't understand their use of the spray either. You know, in Los Angeles, they're not allowed to use chemical irritants anywhere. Well, I say that that's within LAPD, but sheriffs can use chemicals, and they did on protesters. But LAPD has not been allowed to. Yeah, it's like weed and protests. Anti-fascist granny with her electric bike and her Antifa flag on the back. So this was a climate protest. And at this climate protest in Germany, they fake arrested Greta Thunberg. But I'm not sure how this got this way. The protesters might have done that. And then this knucklehead comes up and fucks with the officers. But as one gets out, they're like trying to free them. But somehow the officers keep getting their boots stuck and shit. And this guy, he throws away the sign and they're trying to free the officers. Now this guy's going to be stuck. He's gotten himself stuck, and the Pope there pushes him over. So it's very comical, I will admit. But the protesters are throwing mud at him. It's a disgraceful confrontation by climate activists who have been awfully silent in Ohio. So, again, here, violence on police officers. I don't know what country this is, but it's not the United States. But this is all this account is about. This may be a European account. It seems like most of the stuff is, but ACAB is one of those things that is international, which I find very interesting, because I don't know that they call cops. I don't think they call them cops in Europe. They're polizia. But it's this dumb shit. Like, by the way, these aren't police officers. These are what is it they're fighting for here? mental health experts in uniform. This is just got disaster written all over it. Now he's going to tie something to himself. Like what's he going to tie himself to the, there's too many people in this little boat. Maybe I'm starting to become an anti-fascist, anarchist, because I do find some of these clips oddly hysterical. Like, this is just straight buffoonery. Good thing he got in that boat. He could have just walked over there. He's thinking now, why didn't I just walk over there? I could have just, he never know. It's boat's sinking. Now everybody's swimming. Like, who didn't see that coming? This is what happens when you hire just anybody. But, it's a soccer one. That's weird. Night, comrades, it says. Morning, comrades. They wake up every morning and they post this. How fucked up do you have to be? Snowball fight. That was the United States. I want to say this happened in, gosh, does anybody know where this happened? I don't feel like this was Europe. I feel like I remember this happening. Seattle, maybe? Could it have been? Maybe not. I can't tell. There's nothing. He's got a yellow press vest on. Nah, that's a European car. It's Europe somewhere. Again with the Molotov and again with the cop car. Okay. Enough of this nonsense. But that's that account, which is just something I noticed as I was linking through this guy's stuff. Temporary pass Connecticut. What the? 3 members of Highway 2 continue enforcement against fraudulent license plates. These vehicles were being driven on the highway in Brooklyn. These vehicles are also unregistered and uninsured. Its operators have been taken into custody and the vehicles have been impounded, I'm imagining. Temporary pass. I don't know. I think there should be fitness standards for police officers. But maybe that guy's role was to not, I didn't mean role. That was inappropriate. Let me rephrase that. Perhaps that man's duty was very easy, we'll say. And there was no chasing bad guys or no threat of danger. But he's looking for J6ers. What the hell kind of nonsense is this? This is just a rabbit hole of crazy. He retweeted this over. Oh, because Talia Jane picked it up. He's retweeting everybody who retweets him or her. Well, yeah, it's him. This is Twitter for you. Twitter narcissism. Oh, look, somebody retweeted me, so I'm going to retweet them retweeting me. Pretty classic. Did they really paint a mustache on that guy in that photo? Is this fucking Need for Speed? What the hell? It's a new police car out of Ontario. The OPP. What kind of craziness is this? Ukrainian combat footage archive. Video of a Russian machine gun robot using twin 7.62mm PKT machine guns. They are allegedly being used in the Kupiansk direction. It's not a robot. It's radio controlled. There's actually a huge difference. A robot would be something that can operate on its own, detect a enemy, whatnot, and automatically fire. This guy's controlling it with a remote control. He's built a really violent radio controlled vehicle. But you eliminate him and the gun stops. So it's interesting to see some of the wartime videos coming out and some of the technology that's being used to fight that war. I wonder if that's where our $70 billion has gone, to that right there. It's got its own little generator that it's towing around. And it doesn't even know where it's shooting. It's just randomly firing. Oh, I see. That's like the car, and it's on its own trailer. That's bizarre. Whoa! Don't go that way. You're standing in front of the shoot the camera guy. Man, that made me nervous there for a second. It was like, hang on. It was just like this. It was just like this. Where'd that go? Where is that? Let me pull it up. We'll go back. We'll revisit that. It was this. Come on. It was this.
Oh my gosh, your hair turned pink.
Wait, we'll get to the good part. It was this. It was bus driver here in the background swinging the gun around. Was the comparison to that last clip we saw of the robot swinging towards the camera guy. I was just waiting for the guy with the remote control to hit the wrong button and camera fall. This is the most cringe shit I've seen. And don't get me wrong, I'm not bothered by it. It goes to show the stupidity of these people. So, good fun. I'm not going to put that on a button, by the way. Anyway. News one. Is this this might be that same account that we read the beaver story, not the beaver story, what do you call it? NASCAR weekend, right, Gra? I might have to use that new Fox app I've got, the Fox Sports app, and check out the Daytona for the first time in a while. See if it still is destroyed as it used to be. It is the Super Bowl of NASCAR. Smart hog hunting robot. I had a buddy who worked with a crew to rig cameras to a machine gun that you could literally control over the internet. I forget what that was called, but it was really interesting. I don't remember if it was for a gun manufacturer or for an ammo manufacturer. But you could go onto their website, and then you would have your turn, and you could aim and pick targets, and the camera was mounted on the machine gun, and then you controlled when the gun fired, and it was all, sort of a internet controlled gun, right? Yeah. NASCAR socialists. They all get the same car, same parts. I think it's funny. Let's take a look at this real quick, and then we'll get back up, because there were so many more things that came up, and one of them was this account that, when I first saw it, because I didn't know, I thought it was real and psychotic. But Mississippi cop beat, waterboarded, handcuffed black men, shot one for dating white women. Lawyers. I don't understand. Like, how did we get to where this headline just seems weird? This is written by Bruce C.T. Wright. BCTW is his Twitter handle. It just hit that. It says multiple white officers in Mississippi falsely accused two black men of selling drugs and dating white women before handcuffing and brutally torturing them last month, including shooting one of them in the mouth in what should result in attempted murder charges, a group of lawyers said this week. This is awful. The police violence has left Michael C. Jenkins hospitalized and fighting for his life with injuries that forced doctors to remove his tongue, according to his attorney. Jenkins was with Eddie Terrell Parker in a private residence in the village of Braxton. Anybody know where Braxton is? When the location was raided by 6 white officers without a warrant, Black Lawyers for Justice said in a press release emailed to News One. The officers allegedly accused Jenkins and Parker of dating white women and selling drugs. What like when I hear these quotes, it sounds like 1960, right? You know, this is like old shit, but they're saying this happened a month ago. So this must be down in Mississippi, because Jenkins was left in critical condition at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. So Braxton, Mississippi. The officers accused Jenkins. The officers allegedly repeatedly, brutally beat and kicked the men while using a taser on both and threatening to kill them. A witness even described the officers participating in something of a taser contest, with Jenkins and Parker being targets, Jenkins' mother said. The brutality allegedly reached torturous levels when officers waterboarded. Like, this is insane. Jenkins and Parker, by employing the potentially deadly interrogation tactic that has been outlawed at the highest level of the military. The brutality, Jenkins' mother said she was told by police that her son displayed a gun, which is why he was shot. But Mary Jenkins also said in a GoFundMe account, she stated that a witness said her son, quote, didn't have a gun. The witness told us that Jenkins was beat, tased, and handcuffed while on his knees. The witness also stated that they went back and forth tasing Jenkins and Parker to see whose taser was the strongest. Jenkins has been left in critical condition. We read that. Black Lawyers for Justice announced they will hold a press conference on Wednesday to make several demands, including that the officers involved be arrested and criminally charged, as well as all body cam footage be released and made public. Did anybody pick up on that? This happened over a month ago. Why not release the body cam footage? because these are horrendous, claims that are made, and it, clearly looks like Attorney Malik Z. Shabazz told News One that Parker is not hospitalized and is expected to be present at the press conference. The alleged police brutality took place about 1 week after officers in Memphis, Tennessee beat unarmed black motorist Tyree Nichols so severely we know what happened there. The fallout from that instance has been swift with the officers being fired and charged with murder amid a widening investigation that includes the highest levels of local government and public safety. But notice how it says, "This is America." This is the part, like, what happened here. Obviously we're hearing one thing, is horrible, right? This is apparently 6 officers. This is not every officer in the United States. So for them to end this article with "This is America," this isn't America. These are isolated instances happening across America, but not in every department. There's also tons of stops that go very well. And not all cops are bad. These cops sound awful. 7. 6. So yeah, I hope justice is served. Anyway, that's a fun account. For those of you who Twitter, you may want to add that to a list and keep an eye on that one. This woman was attacked in a gym.
Whenever he was at the door, I buzzed him in and he came inside. My thought process was it was just another dude coming in to work out, so I didn't think of anything out of that. As soon as he was approaching me, I pushed him. I said, "Bro, what the F are you doing? Get away from me, stop trying to touch me." And he started chasing me around the bench and we ended up on the other side of the gym.
I'm grateful that she came forward. I know that her story is going to be an inspiration to other women.
My advice would be to never give up. My parents always told me in life to never give up on anything. And that's one thing I always kept in my mind when I was fighting him. As long as you don't give up, you fight back, you show him that you are strong, that you are one, that you're able to fight back and survive this and get out of the situation, I believe it's possible.
That's good. Again, another train wreck, train derailment. Pete Buttigieg says, "Don't worry, there's thousands of train derailments every year." Again, what constitutes a train derailment? A couple wheels coming off. Like, these are bad. These have been, potentially very dangerous. So you got, this is Van Buren Township, Michigan. You had another one in Texas. There was that toxic truck wreck in Texas as well, I think. Whatever they're doing, they're fucking it up. This is not working. This is clearly not working the way it's supposed to. But the thing that I heard that was really interesting, the push is now to nationalize the rail system. What does that sound like to you? Because when leftists use nationalize, to me, that's just them wanting communism, socialism, right? When a conservative, somebody on the right, says anything about this country and standing for this country, you're considered a white nationalist. So is nationalize and nationalist two opposing ideas? Am I a nationalist because I say I don't want nationalized rail service? We like, how many times do we have to look at how great a job our government does with everything else? I don't think they do a better job. And then somebody, like, I don't think I saved it, but somebody showed some train tracks that were just like a roller coaster. And you see the train tipping back and forth. But as the train got closer, I'm waiting to see, is it an American train? Is it European? Could have been Europe. It's hard to say if it's fake news or what. But the point is that, you know, they were trying to make this claim that in America, these train tracks, like, that's not the federal government's role. The federal government doesn't maintain train tracks. That's not infrastructure. Those are actually owned by the rail lines. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. But those rail lines are owned by those train companies. Yes, Pete is another loser in the Biden administration, isn't he? So this guy's interesting. Wesley Hunt. What's best for America has nothing to do with feelings. Watch. President Trump started Space Force, and they laughed at him. So watch this. Watch this. It's kind of interesting.
Or how you might feel about the messenger. See, this word feel has overtaken what it means to be a pragmatic thinker and doing what's in the best interest of the country. Right. The only reason, if it were Obama, if he did Space Force, it would have been the greatest thing since Pockets.
Oh, they'd love it. That'd be it, of course. Yeah, there'd be a documentary on CNN.
It'd be in HBO and everything, and it'd be awesome about Space Force. But because Trump did it, now all of a sudden it's just stupid. He doesn't know what he's doing, and he has mean tweets. And then now, at some point, someone has to look around and they have to say, "Thank you."
Right.
I don't care how you feel. It's not about your feelings. Thank you. That was a good move. Hey, what you did on the border? Hey, thank you. That was actually a pretty good move.
That's it.
What you did for us in taxes? Hey, thank you. That was actually a good move. Unleashing American energy and having our energy independence. Thank you. That was a good move. And let me tell you something. I'm running out of fingers, bro. We can go on and on and on. We're finding out he was right about a lot of stuff.
He absolutely was. He was right about China. They made fun of him for warning us about China. Look at it now. What's going on?
He's been right. He was right about a lot of things. He was right about Russia.
Sure, of course.
And they tried to hang that on him, and actually, he had nothing to do with that. In fact, the Russians were terrified of President Trump. Vladimir Putin respected President Trump, actually.
Interesting, huh? I don't know what's going on here, why it keeps flashing out like that. That's really strange. Anyway, this post says, a student pulled a gun out on his teacher. Your children are not safe in public school system. Parents should have a right to send their children to a school where their child is safe. And watch. Listen to the audio here. This one doesn't have audio. Oh, that was another clip. Oh, it was a fight between two students that I had watched. Girl sitting in her chair gets hit over the head with a book by another student, and it's all you hear is the teacher saying, "Put that camera away. Put those cameras away. Like get up out of your seat and go save this girl. Go help this girl." But that never happens. But this guy here, and look at Knucklehead behind him comes up. Oh, here it is. This is the one.
Activist teacher here again, and I just wanted to share with you guys.
Now, keep in mind, I did not know that this was a parody account until I watched it and then was like, okay, wait a minute. This something fishy here. But I don't think most people realize how fishy this smells. It didn't seem that out of the realm from some of the things I've seen, but I wanted to make sure, you know, I was got to check. But this is a parody account. She's making a statement here. She does these bit videos. But listen.
About how I am starting a new communist lunch program in my classroom. So what I've been noticing is that my white privileged kids, they have much better lunches than my BIPOC students. So I wanted to make sure everything was more equitable in my class. So we started having a communist style lunch. So what I do is I ask all of the kids to put their lunches all together, every item of their lunch inside of a basket. And then at lunchtime, I distribute it all equally to them so that they can all have more equitable lunches. And I have this one white privileged student, and he's always complaining to me that he's getting the hummus and carrot sticks while the other kids are getting, the BIPOC kids are getting the 6-pack of Oreos. And I tell him, you know, even though I am doing my best to make this equitable, we also have to make up for 300 years of oppression.
Pretty believable.
Hi, Miss
And then when you look at it,
teacher here again.
when you look at the account, educator and founder of Exodus Institute, a K-12 online school, we must take our kids out of these indoctrination camps. P.S. Mask equals parody. She says she's from Florida. But sort of interesting. And then there's this day 3 of being a dude. She does a pretty good job on this one.
Alright, day 3 of being a dude, and I've already become a bra. I tried to do some brawling today with my partner.
Don't call me partner.
I tried to do some brawling today with my partner, sat down and was like...
Bruh. Nobody says that. 2010.
Alright, day 3 of being a dude, and I tried to be a bro.
Bruh.
Bruh? Bruh? And I tried to do some bruh. Is that right? Bruh? Brawing today. And yeah, sat down, did a nice man spread, did some brawling with my partner. Yeah, he wasn't really into it. But you know what? I do think I'm a bra. Bra?
Day 3 of being a girl, and I've already become a bimbo.
Anyway, Callie Fontanaya is the name of that account. Just some of the interesting.
Have set up a free library. Let's take a look. This little free library was built by hand by 2 extremely domestic lesbians.
My friends ask me about my sexuality. I choke up and joke that the answer's not easy.
I some of this stuff I bookmark. I don't know that it's appropriate for live stream, but I don't remember what this one is.
You can have a seat. Have a seat. So I'm stopping you for going 50 miles an hour to 25.
What are you talking about?
So I need you to sit down.
I think you're messing with me.
Yep. I didn't
No, I'm not.
I think you're messing with me. I think you're messing with me.
No. Sit down. Have a seat. Have a seat. You're okay. I'm not messing with you.
I think he said the cop was messing with him. So this says 31-year-old Paul Willis IV of Richmond, Virginia, tries to grab the Virginia Commonwealth University officer's gun during a traffic stop. The body cam was released after misleading cell phone video was spread. Let's watch. I remember watching this. Watch this. This is unbelievable.
Hey, man, you can stay in your car. You can stay in the car, man. You can have a seat. Have a seat. So I'm stopping you for going 50 miles an hour to 25.
What are you talking about?
I have it. Hit the pause bar. I got to pause. So far, this seems like pretty straight. You don't want people getting out of their cars. That's something officers. By the way, you never get out of your car. Number 1 rule. If you've never been told stay in your car during a stop, never ever get out of your vehicle during a police stop. It's one of the worst things you can do. Not the worst thing. One of the worst things you can do. as a basic rule of thumb for anyone who's never heard it, if it's dark, turn on your dome lights, turn on your lights, roll down all your windows, unless it's raining, you know, but roll down your windows so that the cops can see what's going on. Make sure that there's nobody else in there, whatever. Keep your hands on the steering wheel, and it doesn't matter what color you are. It's just a good thing to do. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. And wait for the police officer to come to the window. Now, if you're a criminal and you've got something to hide, or you really just hate the cops, what you do is leave your dome light off. Make sure you shuffle around your shit in the car as the officer is walking up, and then refuse to roll down your window. That's probably one of the best things you can do if you really hate the cops. And you'll get off to a good start. But here, watch how this went. He got out of the car, and the officer's like, hey, get back in your car, please. You know, I pulled you over because you were speeding. You're doing 55 and a 40, whatever it was. No need for any of this. Obviously, the cop's white.
You're messing with me.
So, no, I'm not.
I think you're messing with me. I think you're messing with me.
No, you need to sit down.
No,
have a seat. Have a seat.
You're messing
okay.
with me.
I'm not messing with you. You need to
Why
have
are
a
you
seat.
grabbing me? Why are you grabbing me? I want to talk to somebody.
Okay, have a seat. Have a seat.
Why are you grabbing me?
Have a seat now.
Why are you grabbing me?
Have a seat. Have a seat or turn around.
Is the cop being
Okay,
sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
rude? Is he?
Sit down.
Oh! Don't do that! Don't grab for the gun. Do not grab for the gun. That is a bad idea. Body cam fell. They're magnetically connected to the attachment, so that happens actually too often. I don't know how that ends. I'm curious if there's more to this. I wonder what the bystander video was. That's pretty good artwork. I've never seen that before. We'll save that. Bookmark that. That's good. I don't know if we can show this. This is Chris Rock. How not to get your ass kicked by the police. If you haven't seen this, I highly recommend pulling this up on YouTube and watching this. Jason says, in what universe do folks think that fighting cops or grabbing their gun is going to end well? I don't know, Jason. I don't know what leads people to believe that. The railroads are responsible for the tracks. We have 3 road companies in Bakersfield: Union Pacific, BNSF, and Small Local, SJRR. They all have their own tracks and also travel on the others with usage agreements. Yeah. Right. And then there's that guy that used to own some rail tracks that he sold the tracks but kept all the right-of-ways on each side of the tracks for cables. That was, I've heard about that deal. But take diaper off, please. Who's got a diaper on? Face diaper. Funny. Yeah. I know I'm probably back. Oh yeah, Wayne. Twitter is a cesspool. Twitter is absolutely a cesspool. The thing I love the most about Twitter is the alerts that I get when there's a police chase or something. There was an interesting one last night of a white minivan. And I don't know what they were doing to the van, but the one girl, she got out and the cleavage and the whole thing going on, it was nuts. They had to go in with a shield and pull the driver out, apparently. But he didn't want to. He dragged his ass across the concrete. But they had apparently thrown guns out of the vehicle once the chase started. So they didn't know if they were now unarmed or what. But it wasn't a high-speed chase, but they put an end to it. What I didn't like was the way they put an end to it. They did a great pit maneuver that unfortunately put the vehicle into parked cars. So, people got their vehicles jacked up because of this knucklehead. Well, really because the police did the pit in a very bad spot. But apparently the helicopter told the police units, now's the time to do it if you're going to do it. And so they got the go-ahead to do it, and that's why they did it. And then Spread Love says, never been pulled over. That's fascinating. How many years on the road have you had? Are you a new driver? Or, you know, because I would imagine, I would find it, I would find you to be a bit of a unicorn if you've never been pulled over. I would imagine that everybody's sort of been stopped at one point or another in their driving career, but maybe not. Maybe you never leave your small town. I don't know. What are the circumstances, do you think, Spread Love, behind you never being pulled over? Please tell me you're the most perfect driver in this country. Can you say disrupt the supply chain further? Bumblefucks. I totally 100%. It's all like, I don't believe in coincidence. I think that things. Moose knucklehead. Yeah. I totally feel it. I totally feel it. I totally feel it. I'm guessing that person has something to do with this. Oh. Because Ron Melvin said, but he didn't do nothing. He's turning his life around. If Obama had a son. And then Sports, Politics, and World News says, if Beavis and Butthead had a son. It's the guy who made that dumbass comment. Cesspool, Twitter is. Bike riding girl right here at the top says, I do not condone his behavior, but I was born and raised in Richmond, so I definitely understand what's going through his mind during that stop. I'm going to be treated unfairly. I'm going to be beaten up. I might get killed. Won't have fair representation in court. Screw it, is what she's Bike Girl saying. Let's click on Bike Girl here. Bike riding girl. Twitter blocked my 14-year account for no reason. So here we go again. Is this how Elon will demonstrate user growth? Okay. Tells me, I want to see some of her tweets. She has 8 followers. She's retweeting Democrats, the Arizona GOP presence. Oh, she loves Rob Reiner. Yeah, you know, Trump derangement syndrome. It's all the typical. See, threats of violence again. They love violence. Old-timey photograph. She doesn't. This bike riding girl has no idea. This woman may have asked for that vacuum cleaner as a Christmas gift. She doesn't know. She's making assumptions. I'll tell you, the unicorn asked for a special mop bucket. Guess what? She got 2 of them. One from me and one from her son. And she was ecstatic. I go, babe, you can't tell everybody the things that you want. You gotta, you know, sort of, I don't know. She also got 2 cake dishes, cake plates. That was fun too. But yeah, you know, it's one of those things where you never know. this bike riding girl is making assumptions, and I find that hysterical because women ask for things that they want. Now, bike riding girl might ask for a bike. Imagine if that was a bike under the tree, and the husband's, I don't know what the blindfold's for exactly, but I don't know. It's a pretty photograph. It actually looks fairly new. So I don't know, did the train look old or not? By the way, we went and visited. We were on our way to a store last weekend, and it was Saturday, and drove by the Hub City. What was it? I'm trying to remember what it's called exactly. I'm not going to have this right. The Hub City Railroad Museum. Place is awesome. Absolutely awesome. They have so much cool stuff. I will be coming closer to summer. I'd like to do a live stream. I think I'm actually going to join the railroad as sort of a volunteer, I guess, because they have their preservation society, and they need some help. And so because of my toys and the things I've done and built, and I'm going to offer my services and some live streaming as well, maybe for the club. But really nice group of people over there, and they love to talk. But they have scale model of the original hub that is out behind the property that's been torn down. Some great photographs, and then they've got the working railroad that's up there, and then they've got another one that they're building. And so anyway, we're going to get involved with the Railroad Museum in Hagerstown. That's one of the upcoming things in the future here. But I forgot all about that. As I was looking here at this photograph, and I see the train, I go, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to tell you that we had done that. And it's Hagerstown. What are these crazy looking? Reminds me of a movie I saw as a kid. They do look like mini dinosaurs, don't they? There was a movie that scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. Had some animals like that. It was awful. Should never have watched that movie as a child. Very inappropriate. Okay. That's Bike Riding Girl. Everything I would have expected and more out of Bike Riding Girl. She seems to be the only one. And also, too, the thing I wanted to point out that was interesting about what Bike Riding Girl says. She says, I don't condone his behavior. Starting out already, right? But I was born and raised in Richmond, so I definitely understand. Here's the note. This was Richmond, Virginia. Tries to grab the Virginia Commonwealth University. This is at the university. So this isn't like, this is a university police officer. I think that makes a bit of a difference, right? This is the campus police, right? I'm guessing this kid's on campus. So I don't think this is just ghetto Richmond police. That's not, this looks like a real nice neighborhood. And listen to the police officer. If everything you're told, if you're told to be afraid of the cops and be afraid, because this is part of that mentality that I understand there's been these issues. But you also have to teach logic and reason. Not every white man is bad. Not every black man is bad. Not every yellow man is bad. Not every red man is bad. You know what I mean? Not every dog is going to bite you. Right? There's some really big dogs that are super sweet. There's some really tiny little dogs that are little tyrants that'll nip at your heels. Right? So we've created this belief. There's a 4-letter acronym for it that gets this young man to where he's at, and this young man doesn't seem as though he, is any sort of threat. And the officer doesn't sound like a threat either. So what the fuck happened here?
Hey, man, you can stay in your car. You can stay in the car, man. You can have a seat. Have a
What's
seat.
safer?
So I'm stopping
Stay in
you
your
for
car.
going 50 miles an hour to 25.
This is why I pulled you
So
over.
I need you to sit down.
I think you're messing with me.
So no, I'm not.
I think you're messing with me.
Shit, I did it again.
No, you just
Usually
sit
the space bar pauses. I think you're messing with me. He can't believe how nice this cop is being to him. You're messing with me, right? That's what he says. But every dog has his day. I get it. Look. I could be afraid to walk outside today or drive a car because I'm afraid of getting in an accident. Actually, I think your odds of dying in a car accident are higher than being killed by a police officer. But do you think he has the same fear about driving? In a way, I kind of hope he does. That would at least make some sense. He's sort of, just afraid of everything, right? But the statistics are there that, in fact, I was reminded 2022, there was 1,192 deaths that occurred through police interactions. So far in 2023, there's 133. So the average is actually less this year than last year so far. Even though it seems like 133 is a lot, we're, below average so far. Somebody reminded me in an email, in a message. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, no, this is sad. Because I'm not sure at what point, he's like, he didn't like being touched. But the officer's trying to put him back in the car because you can see on the road here, it's a 2-lane road. They're in a lane of traffic. He wants to make everybody safe. That's one of their goals, right? And the person in the car is the best situation. Outside the car is when they get handcuffs put on them, right? So there's no reason to do that. Just get back in your car. I'll write you a ticket. Maybe not even write you a ticket. He just said you were going 55 in a whatever.
Stay in the car, man. You can have a seat. Have a seat. So I'm stopping you for going 50 miles an hour to 25.
What are you talking about?
50 in a 25. That's pretty fast for a 25-mile-an-hour zone. It don't matter what color you are, you're getting pulled over for that if there's a cop around, right? Cop's not even mad about it. He's just like, hey, just so you know, I pulled you over because you were doing 50 in a 25.
So I need you to sit down.
I think you're messing with me.
So no, I'm not.
I think you're messing with me. I think you're.
Sophie Love says his body language is aggressive. Not running, but advancing towards the cop. Yeah, no, he definitely gets out the car and goes towards the officer, doesn't he?
No, you.
He sees the cop getting out, and
Hey,
he comes out of the car.
You can stay in your car. You can stay in the car, man. You can have a seat. Have a seat. So I'm stopping you for going 50 miles an hour to 25.
What are you talking about?
So I need you to sit down.
I think you're messing with me.
So no, I'm not.
I think you're messing with me. I think you're messing with me.
No, you need to sit down.
No,
Have a seat. You're okay. I'm not messing with you.
Why are you grabbing me? Why are you grabbing me? I want to talk to somebody.
Okay, have a seat. Have a seat.
Why are you grabbing me?
Have a seat now.
Why are you grabbing me?
Have a seat. Have a seat. Or
I
turn around.
haven't done anything.
Okay. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
Sit in the car.
Sit down.
There he goes. Now he's
Sit
sitting.
down.
Now he's about to. Nope. And that's where he decided. Oh, the spacebar worked that time. He decided he was not going to sit. He almost sat down. He almost sat down. Like, I'd love to know what was going through his head.
He's trying to grab my gun. He's trying to grab my gun. Get off my gun. Get off my gun. Get off my gun. Get off my gun.
31 years old. Are you still in college at 31? Probably not, right? No way. Well, you could be in graduate school or something. Because I'm just trying to think, like, why is Commonwealth University officer pulling him over? But I guess maybe if he's driving through a college, it doesn't matter. It's just they're an officer that's assigned to the university, right? Let me see if I can. Let's see if we can find more of this video. I'm curious about the other. Yeah, let's see if this gets us there. Sweet. I'm just. So my question is, did he shoot him? It says, according to VCU police, Willis was reaching for the officer's firearm. In response, the officer can be heard saying, he's trying to grab my gun. He's trying to grab my gun. The officer then hits Willis about 5 times. Hits Willis 5 times, causing Willis to try and cover his head with his arms. The officer can then be seen tackling Willis to the ground and subduing him. Okay. So the use of force here, for those who have been paying attention to some of the stuff, was 1 notch ahead. He was unarmed. So just because he reached for his gun doesn't mean he can pull the gun out and shoot Willis. It means that tactically he could use a baton, he could use something to subdue and get him cuffed. But let's see if we can find. That's not going to play. That's not a clickable link. Both Willis and the officer were treated at a local hospital for minor injuries, according to police. Willis was charged with obstruction of justice and a felony count of assault and battery on a law enforcement officer. Willis is being held on bond with additional charges pending, according to police. VCU police said that the body cam footage was released as a result of cell phone video of the incident being shared on social media. Willis is reportedly unaffiliated with VCU. So he didn't go to the college. Okay. The incident remains under investigation and is pending adjudication in the Richmond City court system. There are no further details at this time. I just wanted to see more of the. Maybe they'll show it here. Playing in 3, 2, 1. Okay, here it is. Let's see here.
Your comfort refuge. And turn to the experts at...
I thought it was going to play for us right away. We got a great little commercial playing. Okay, any second now. Okay, here we go. So, no audio because the body cam starts usually when they get out of the car. They initiate the body cam, but it's always recording. It's always collecting data. But no audio until the button's pushed, which I find really strange. Why not just record all floors? So he initiated, so it's whatever time before the...
Hey, man, you can stay in your car. You can stay in the car, man. You can have a seat. Have a seat. So I'm stopping you for going 50 miles an hour to 25.
What are you talking about?
So I need you to sit down.
I think you're messing with me.
So no, I'm not.
I think you're messing with me. I think you're messing with me.
No, you need to sit down.
No,
have a seat. Have a seat. You're okay. I'm not messing with you. You need to have a seat.
Why are you grabbing me? I want to talk to somebody.
Okay, have a seat.
Speed him up, he says. So he's already called for backup.
Have a seat. Have a seat or
I
turn around.
haven't done anything. Okay.
Sit down.
Which I find interesting because I didn't hear that before.
trying to grab my gun. He's trying to grab my gun. Get off my gun! Get off my gun! Get off my gun!
Oh, you can see the blood on the doorway. He hit him pretty hard with whatever it was.
You know what you did.
Lay down flat on your back! Lay down flat on your back!
You know what you did? You kept driving. You kept driving. You put your foot up on the drive. Hey, I gave up. I gave up.
By the way, I don't know if you can see the holster there, but you can't see it now that I hit pause. But the holsters, you can't just pull the weapon out. There is tension on there, and sometimes you even have to do it in just the right way. And the officer's trained to do that because they don't want the gun falling out. It's called a retention holster, so that's part of what they were in. Let me see if I can play it here. You can kind of see it pretty good there. I don't know what type of retention it has. It may have some type of mechanism that you have to push, a button push or something. But it's instances like that it's really meant for. So 100 IQ cop at best. Can you elaborate on that for me, Jeff? I'm curious exactly what you're trying to point out there. Sadly, he may not have had any record. And this may have completely destroyed his life or, definitely made life worse. Yeah. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. I was having a hard time finding that word retention. Let's see. I guess it's just going to show this footage. But it is interesting that it showed the rest of the footage, whereas that Twitter clip.
When I stopped, he nothing forward. He left my car forward. That's why I drove over here. I thought he was a fake cop. He left my car forward.
Okay. So I'm gonna back this up, and I think the voice you're hearing is Paul Willis. And he's saying something about he nudged my car forward. So we'll listen to this, and then maybe we'll go back to the beginning. The problem is with the body cam, because of the way the officers sit in the car, and we saw this with Tyree, is that the body cam footage, the way it's recorded and the position of the body cam, you can't see out the windshield. Not that that mattered in Tyree, but on this one you can't see. So the body cam, unless there's in-car footage, who knows if they have in-car, but you can't hear. But let me go back and
You know what you did? You kept driving. You kept driving. You put your foot up on the drive. Hey, I gave up. I gave up.
All right. 7, 12, hold in custody.
7-11. I'm already 223 with him. When I stopped, he nothing forward. He left my car forward. That's why I drove over here. I thought thought he was a fake cop. He left my car for
Okay. He's saying, I thought he was a fake cop. He nudged my car forward, which is interesting. Daisy says, officer abuse is real right now. It's sick. Daisy, do you think this was a case of officer abuse here? Would you classify this as officer abuse? Just curious. Interesting. Generally do not follow unjust orders and often quit. Expensive training. I had not heard that before, Jeff. That's interesting. I have somebody I can ask about that. We'll look into it because I'm curious to know the answer to that. Let me go back to the beginning here. Okay. You got a computer here. You've got what looks like a radar up here on the windshield. You can see to the officer's right, he's passing a truck right now. We don't get any details, I don't think, about the look of this car, but let's see. Okay, so yeah, he passed the car. Looks like he's in the number 2 lane, maybe. It's hard to tell. He's not calling in on his radio. He just pulled over on the side. He gets out. Look how far he's car.
Hey, man, you can stay in your car. You can stay in the car, man. You can have a seat. Have a seat. So I'm stopping you for going 50 miles an hour to 25. What do you?
So I don't see any indication of the officer driving up on him. Look at the uniform he's got on. He clearly is a cop. So, you know, for him to go, oh, I didn't think he was a cop. Like, you know, what other indications do you need for identification? It's just kind of weird. Like, people say shit trying to talk their way out of situations. Kid fucked up. And he's not even a kid. He's 31 years old. So that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That's a cool little camera. I was hoping to see that the social media footage, but maybe it's all been taken down. So, or he's unidentified, but maybe I'll stumble upon it. But all right, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take 5 and come back. We'll shoot the shit some more, and maybe what we'll do is look at the dark side of Twitter and how bots work. That's a good one. That's a whole nother wormhole. Yeah, we'll go from there. Everybody take 5. I'll see you in a few minutes. About 10. Bye.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be scared. I'm so gone, no I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be scared. Bye.
It is cold out there tonight. It is frosty. But it's going to be back like 70 by Thursday, I think. It's supposed to be even warmer tomorrow. Today we actually had a little bit of rain. Wondered if we were getting any of that bad rain coming from Ohio. So definitely thought that crossed my mind. You guys talking about deer? Deer roast and gravy over brown rice. Is that what Troy's having for dinner tonight? Because I was just talking to the unicorn, asking her what we were going to do for dinner. So, gonna make some grilled cheese. Tommy Temper's in the chat. What's going on, Tommy Temper? What are you live streaming? How are you, MC? Good to see you. Nightbot, we're gonna fight. Why are you fighting the Nightbot? What's going on? Linda Lou's in the house. You just joining us, Linda Lou? What's going on, Mel? It's kind of feeling like winter today, but kind of wondering if winter is ever going to sort of make it our way. But it was funny because one of the things that was happening was I listened into another chat, another live stream while I was out walking Tucker. And it just the opportune moment where Telescope was talking about the fact that the police showed up because I had heard a rumor that his chat called the police on Red and Freedom Squirrel. And so that they just happened to be talking about it at the time. And apparently that's what happened. But it's funny. They're sort of the nanny state over there. Like, I get called a bootlicker because, you know, I talk about the police and whatnot. And probably favorably. They don't like the police. But yet it's the first thing they do is call the police on something that has nothing to do with them, which I find really unique and sort of odd. Because that was one of the things we're going to talk about, and I'm gonna wait to really talk about it because I have a lot more digging to do. But just to give you a little bit of a hint, it's another live streamer that's been in and out of the chats that for some reason today in YouTube, it came up. I think it was YouTube, or maybe it was a tweet that somebody had put out that I saw. I honestly don't even remember now because I keyed into it pretty quick and started kind of diving in. And as I was going through and looking at videos and all this information and trying to understand what was going on and who's who, Defender of Ants started a live stream. And I'm like, oh, he knows too. And then at that moment, I emailed the person and said, hey, you want to come and share your story and talk about, because I didn't realize some of the, obviously it's a nuanced story. And I asked if they wanted to come on and share their side because I knew this was going to be a thing today. And as of right now, she said she didn't really want to talk about it. So, okay, cool. But then Truther Cop started talking about it too this afternoon. I was like, oh, he's really getting around. And, you know, I don't like to play connect the dots, but I do like to understand what's going on. And this person, she has a connection to some really big cases and things. MC. Okay, now I kind of we haven't seen you in a while, but I definitely remember Placerville. Placerville. I always say it wrong, but it is Placerville. But yeah, so I have a lot more digging to do, but I'm starting to understand what it's all about, and it is very nuanced. And I think that I'd love to have the discussion with her. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think it's something that we will talk about at some point. I just find it really interesting that people can hate the police while apparently working with the police. I'm so confused by this. And then, it's the first thing this chat does is call the police. And I even went into the chat when I heard they called the police. I go, oh, so you guys are swatting the squirrels. Okay, cool. No, we're not. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Well, then the police show up out there and I don't know. The drama is overwhelmingly funny. And Gra Mistress is AOC. How does that work? You actually gold mine Tommy Temper? Hey, Tommy, do you have a minute to come on stream with me? Are you able to do that? I'll send you a link, or I'll put a link in the comments for you. I got a couple questions about Canada and some stuff that I saw going on. I don't have a lot of time, so it won't be long. I just had a couple questions, something that I noticed. Maybe I can pull up for you and show you some stuff. Are you live streaming right now? Some more Monty Python. I didn't get a strike for that. I got a copyright on that video. And then apparently one of the Antifa pieces that I showed the other night had some song in it that the algorithm picked up. I thought was interesting. Ministry of Silly Walks. That was good stuff, right, Chuck? Here, I got something for you. This is a good clip here. Let me pull this up. It's gonna bring up our favorite friend real quick, but we'll change this out real quick. Okay, let me pause this, and then we're gonna swap this out for. This was something I wanted to talk about a little while back. This isn't that old. This is pretty new. This is from last week.
Of Homeland Security, the FBI, and big tech is now well documented and results in private companies not restricted by the First Amendment doing the dirty censorship work of those in government who are not legally allowed to do so themselves. The threat big tech monopolies pose to our democracy is real and serious.
So this, obviously, top left corner, you can see it's from February 9th. And this was the House Select Subcommittee on Weaponizing of the Federal Government holds its first hearing. But
I've had personal experience with this. After the first Democratic primary presidential debate in 2019, I was the most searched candidate of the night.
Anybody remember why she was the most searched candidate of the night? Do you remember what happened during that the 2019 presidential Democrat debate? It's right, Andrew. I agree. I agree. She is the Democrat I like the most. Which, by the way, she's no longer a Democrat. She has left the Democrat Party. But it's interesting that she's in this meeting, that she was called to this meeting or given a voice on this meeting. But listen.
Unfortunately, and suddenly, my Google Ads account was mysteriously suspended without any notice or explanation. There were no responses to our multiple attempts to resolve whatever problem could have caused this. But after some time passed, magically, my account was reinstated, again with no explanation or apology. But their actions limited my ability to connect with voters who were actively seeking more information about my candidacy and why I was offering to serve them as President and Commander-in-Chief. This has not only happened to me, it's happened to other candidates running for various offices. Joe.
Oh, look who's joined us, KMS. KMS, do you really believe that? You think that's what Tulsi Gabbard is? Really? Are you one of those crackpot people that believe the things that you're told to believe? Are you the sheep that we all know you are?
Kent running for Congress in Washington State is one I know personally of. This happens all the time, with these big tech monopolies interfering in our democracy by manipulating search results based on whatever it is that they want the American people to know about a particular candidate or issue that should be concerning to any one of us and all of us. Now, recently, we've learned that the release of the Twitter files detailed by Matt Taibbi and others, high-level former FBI and CIA and other government officials were behind Hamilton 68 and their list.
KMS, I hate giving you this time because it's annoying as shit. We used to get Russia TV, RT News Network. Ask yourself this question. Why were they booted off our airwaves? Our government had no control over it. And by the way, anybody can put her on any network. It doesn't mean she's Russian. It's like the connection you're trying to make is absurd.
644 social media accounts supposedly linked to, quote, Russian influence activities online. Now, Hamilton 68's work was widely cited as fact by institutions like Harvard and Stanford, by mainstream news organizations across the board, by members of the House of Representatives and Senate from both political parties, including the head of the Intelligence Committee. The problem is, it was false.
Can you be specific?
Twitter themselves determined that the vast majority of accounts that Hamilton 68 targeted on this list of 644 were, quote, neither strongly Russian.
Remember, she was also attacked because when Syria was a thing, which it still is, by the way, she went over there to see what was actually going on. As a congressman, she traveled to Syria to understand what was happening. Because remember the whole thing with Assad and he was bombing his own people with chemical weapons that turned out to be a big hoax and all this nonsense. Well, she went over to find out what the heck was going on.
Nor strongly bots, end of quote. They were mostly anti-establishment American voices from across the political spectrum.
I shouldn't have paused it there.
Parties, high-level former FBI in Washington.
Because remember, you know, the claim is that Russia was using bots on Twitter to alter the 2020 election, was the claim. And that's what she's talking about here. I might have gone one too far.
CIA and other government officials were behind Hamilton 68 and their list of 644 social media accounts supposedly linked to, quote, Russian influence activities online. Now, Hamilton 68's work was widely cited as fact by institutions like Harvard and Stanford, by mainstream news organizations across the board, by members of the House of Representatives and Senate from both political parties, including the head of the Intelligence Committee. The problem is, it was false. Twitter themselves determined that the vast majority of counts that Hamilton 68 targeted on this list of 644 were, quote, neither strongly Russian nor strongly bots, end of quote. They were mostly anti-establishment American voices from across the political spectrum. I was one of them. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton accused me, a sitting member of Congress, a soldier, and a candidate running for president, of being, quote, groomed by the Russians. Her baseless smear worked as intended. It was something that was repeated over and over, headline after headline, article after article, pushed online in every way. This had the harmful impact that was intended. I could give you many examples of interactions that I've had with people throughout that campaign and still today.
I wouldn't say she's
But I remember one in
like Joe
particular
Manchin.
that had an impact. Just weeks after this statement was made, I was in South Carolina at a campaign event when an elderly woman came up to me, and I could tell that she was very disturbed. She came up and she put her hands on my shoulders and she looked into my eyes, her eyes welling up, hands shaking, and she said, "Look me in the eyes.
Please feel
I
free
need to
to
know if
email
you
me
are working
KMS.
for Putin."
The email's in the chat.
She was serious.
You send me whatever
I
you
couldn't
think
believe
I
it.
need to see to believe.
I looked her
I'm
straight
happy
back in the eyes
to
and
agree with you.
expressed to her from my heart how much I love this country, so much that I'm willing to die for it. More recently, U.S. Senator Mitt Romney accused me of treason,
Why don't you try using your
a
ears for
crime
a
that
minute,
is punishable
KMS, and listen
by
to
death
what the woman's
under
saying.
our laws. I challenged him to back this serious allegation up with evidence. What was this based on? There was no response, no explanation, no evidence, and certainly no apology. Now, these accusations are often shrugged off as, well, hey, it's politics. People say things about each other all the time. That may be easy for some of you to say, but for somebody who wears the uniform, this is serious. And it's serious not only to me, but to my fellow service members and veterans, every one of us making a decision at some point in our lives to raise our right hand, prepared and volunteering to lay our life down for this country. What does that mean in reality? It means that before every deployment, in our own hearts, we have to make peace with the possibility that we may not come home. It means writing letters to our loved ones, trying to find the words to express our love and gratitude, knowing that that may be our final goodbye. It means, for those of us who do come home, doing our best every single day to honor the great sacrifices of our brothers and sisters who paid that ultimate price. This is much bigger than me or any one individual. When those who dare to challenge the establishment are targeted by this powerful conglomerate of government, corporate media, and big tech, weaponizing all that they have against the people for their own selfish gain, it has a dangerous chilling effect on free speech, and it sends a very powerful message. If you dare to challenge us, we will come after you. The more we allow this to happen, we start looking less and less like a democratic republic and more like a banana republic. Instead of a government ordained to secure these rights, we are now increasingly facing a government determined to take those rights away. George Washington warned, "For if men are to be precluded from offering their sentiments on a matter which may involve the most serious and alarming consequences that can invite the consideration of mankind, reason is of no use to us. The freedom of speech may be taken away, and dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to slaughter." The Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and big tech is now well documented and results in private companies not restricted by the First Amendment, doing the dirty censorship work of those in government who are not legally allowed to do so themselves. The threat big tech monopolies pose to our democracy is real and serious. I've had personal experience with this. After the first Democratic primary presidential debate in 2019, I was the most searched candidate of the night. Unfortunately, and suddenly, my Google Ads account was mysteriously suspended without any notice or explanation. There were no responses to our multiple attempts to resolve whatever problem could have caused this. But after some time passed, magically, my account was reinstated, again, with no explanation or apology.
Sorry. I was doing a little research here on Hamilton and Hamilton 68 in this dashboard. So we can select countries, single platform. The aim of the dashboard and search tool is to increase our understanding of the focus and the spread of state-backed government messaging across various information mediums. The data provided here is intended to be a starting point for in-depth analysis. In short, this dashboard provides the questions, not the answers. Hamilton 2.0 will continue to evolve and expand its features. It is our hope that this project will empower researchers studying nation-state information campaigns and the broader information ecosystem. Click here to read the frequently asked questions and methodology behind the dashboard. Let's just give a little look here. Filters. Most influential accounts. Top tweets by retweets, by countries, top URLs. Turkey quake, most frequent hashtag. China, Russia, Iran. If I just want to reset the view. Filters. Let's just do Russia. All accounts, all categories. Country mentioned. So. United States. Okay. All days of the week, all hashtags, all hours of the day, all key phrases, all languages. Retweet of monitored accounts, all. Yeah, okay, great. So. Let's just see here. So what we'll end up looking at on the next live stream is an account that I found that retweets, or pardon me, doesn't retweet, responds to tweets from Republican, conservative only accounts. And I stumbled on this account the other night, and it tweets once every 2 hours, or 2 minutes, pardon me, once every 2 minutes. And there's a way to look at this data and see. And then it also will connect us to other accounts. The weird part is this is a Twitter account that appears to be a bot that is set up to attack conservative politicians and attack the people who respond to their tweets. So that's something we'll go over next time. But for now, we'll just take a look at this because I'm going to go make dinner here shortly. Sanctions, dollars. So this is what it's saying their tweets are talking about. Now, remember, we were told that fake accounts, bot accounts, right? We've never been shown the accounts. We've never been told the account names. They never actually have the evidence of these bot accounts. I even asked in a tweet the other day if anybody knows how to identify the Russian bot accounts that were apparently manipulating the 2020 election. But like Tulsi Gabbard said, it turns out it's just people who actually support the country and have strong belief in our democracy, our republic as it is. So, RT and Espanol is the most popular, most influential accounts, but it's all in Spanish. Mass Sepa. Favorites, tweets, 180 tweets. It's interesting because the RT account, which is down even lower, isn't the most popular account. But again, RT is a news organization, just like CNN or any of the others. So you take that for what it's worth. Sputnik Japan, Global Times. Ohio Chernobyl. But again, look at the data, because there's one tweet about Americas, but there's, let's see here, more than 3 tweets means a tie for retweets. It doesn't say because it won't go over there. Aye. It seems to be off chart. It looks like 2. Ohio Chernobyl, like so good God. There was a tweet about black smoke, a tweet about spokesperson NCHN. And actually the U.S. related lies amp truth over the years just serve as clear proof. This account, oh. Top 3 tweets by retweet. By the way, many Americans in U.S. media saw a balloon flying at 20,000 meters, yet failed to see the black smoke of it's a great point, right? I don't know who this account is. Can we load it? Spokesperson China. It's funny, it won't let me link to the account. So we'd have to do it the hard way, which is weird. It's like, why won't it actually let you do that? Start by tweets. Oh, I see. Tweets, retweets. So the accounts that have had the most retweets or the most likes, let's see. Favorites. So this account gets a lot of favorites. Most frequent phrases, hashtags. Can it show me some more information? No. So, wandering civilian balloon, wandering balloon. So let's see, down here, hold on this. Take a wandering civilian balloon. So that's what it pulled out of the tweet. So this word pairing here. So then this is the tweet here. Wandering balloon. Why didn't it say fussed over wandering balloon? So because it had wandering balloon and then wandering civilian balloon. So U.S. media, U.S. related lies. Let's see what U.S. related lies were. No, why did it switch? I should really learn how to use this. U.S. related lies. And actually the U.S. related lies in amplitude, they're just over the clear proof. That was U.S. government. Some in the U.S. portray Hirsch's report as fiction with unparalleled intelligence capabilities. Why doesn't the U.S. show evidence to prove its innocence? I'm sorry, I must be Chinese, but I've been wondering the same thing on a lot of this stuff. Like, they never seem to be able to come forward with, the truth. You have to believe us. It's most likely. Okay, so that's what she was doing. Let's see who Isabella. Farina Isabella. Islamic State, NATO, Russian intelligence, terror attacks, aid, Air Force. Transview accounts. Account handle. Change in followers from 211 to 217. Spokesperson China has gone up 12,001% of its followers. That's a pretty looking graph right there. Account handle, actual IDAD RT. I'm guessing that's trying to figure out what I'm looking at here. This is all very interesting data. Matching accounts and tweets. Okay, here. Let's switch this here. Account handle. Because my theory is, based on what I've been looking at from all this other stuff, which I haven't shown you yet, and we'll sit down and go through. My theory is that if they can prove that there's Russian bots, then we should be able to show these accounts that we find that are U.S. bots or what claim to be legitimate accounts that couldn't possibly be tweeting as much as they do. Because I can't imagine anybody sitting on their phone all day long doing this, tweeting. And then also too, from the website that I was using, it looks as though God. Hey KMS. Why are you here? What do you like about hanging out watching WYSIWYG? I'm just so curious. Like I really, what is it? You have my attention. This comment makes no sense because I didn't see any of the other stuff you're doing. But Roseanne was fucking great, right? The clips that I saw from her comedy special. Anybody else been fired lately or lose a job? Whatever she said, she's hysterical. Roseanne's always been funny as shit. I love her. She's fantastic. That show is shit afterwards without her. I watch their ads and retweet the garbage they spew while they laugh all the way to the bank. So, you don't think everything that's free comes at a cost? I'm well aware of that cost. But guess what? It's Twitter. Who's making money on Twitter? The advertisers are. Twitter potentially does, but not the accounts, right? So, do you know anything of which you speak? I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if it is or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. It really, yeah. Sounds just like her, in fact. If she wants to fool me like that, she's not going to last long, because I'm literally about to say goodbye to her because it just is pointless. We were talking about Fox versus Dominion. You should cover the lawsuit. Fox versus Dominion. Okay. Read the transcripts to your viewers. Yeah. I've read some of the tweets and some of the bullshit. I'm not covering that. It's not what I cover. So why don't you start your own channel and you read it to the people who are interested in talking to you? So neither do I. There are two industries that apply the term users: drug dealers and big tech. Jackie, I'm so glad you just joined us. Sadly, I'm getting ready to say goodnight. I'm going to go make some dinner. I'm going to go make some fancy-ass grilled cheese sandwiches and go hang with the unicorn. But I will, pardon me, I got something stuck in me. Yeah, we'll definitely pick up more on this. If you guys are interested in this, I've got a lot to show you. This one website that I found that shows connection to accounts and how people tweet and retweet is really fascinating. We discovered it one night after a live stream as I was sitting in. The Roseanne special is on Fox Nation, from what I understand. She's pretty much been canceled from everything else. Those bitches on The View still exist, but doing far worse. Did you see the latest one? Racist, what's her name? She can't tell the difference between Smiths. So, must have been someone. No, I did eat. I made a little sandwich for lunch. Turkey and cheese. But no, again, that Ohio shit's blowing this way, and I sit out in the garage, and maybe that's the problem. You're welcome, ma'am. So, I don't expect to be back tonight, but we might be back. I don't know. You know how I go. I would love to interview Roseanne. I worked on the show, but she was already gone. And actually, was she gone? I'm trying to think. I just know she wasn't in the scenes that we did. I forgot. The only reason I went to work on it was because they were shooting outside and they needed extra dolly grips, which was funny. because normally they don't use all 4 dolly grips or 3 dolly grips. So yeah, why did that jump there like that? I wish you guys could see what I was dealing with over here. J. Paul. Yeah, you know, last time I did lobster bisque. I don't think we're going to do soup. I'm going to make really hearty. To call it a grilled cheese sandwich is an understatement. But I think what I'm going to do is a hearty grilled cheese, a couple different kinds of cheese. I know I've got Jarlsberg and some Swiss, but it'll be caramelized onions and bacon, and then I'll do hole in the center with an egg. So it should be a good fancy grilled cheese, not the basic American cheese dip in soup. So we'll see what the unicorn wants, but I'm going to go cook dinner. Thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it. We will see you soon. Next time, Wizzy out. Bye, everybody.